Hey there, Cheesemeisters, and welcome back to the Peach Pod After Dark. I'm Jeff, and you know it's always a business doing pleasure with you, Charlie. And joining me on the other end of the internet is my cuz-host.
I'm Leslie, and I've had a lot of practice getting into my clothes.
Yeah, there you go. Out of them, too, I reckon.
I reckon.
Um, yep. All right, so this week, Cheesemeisters, we made what, in retrospect, is a confounding fucking decision.
Are you saying we should have done Boogie Nights?
I don't know. Look, I don't cotton to should. Don't enter into it. But what I'm saying is this: we had the entirety of the Burt Reynolds oeuvre to draw from, and we landed on the best little whorehouse in Texas, the 1982 Texas A&M recruitment video masterpiece, directed by Colin Higgins and starring Burt Reynolds, Dolly Parton, Dom DeLuise, Charles Durning, and Jim Nabors. We're watching this in conjunction with season 3, episode 26. She came in through the bathroom window because of the Burt Reynolds of it all. Our spelling connection is obviously Burt Reynolds, but it's also Dom DeLuise, who shows up in 90210 in an episode later, and also Jim Nabors, who did an episode of Love Boat.
Shazam.
Shazam.
I stand by it. I stand by my choice.
Look, I'm not mad we watched it, but all right. I was never mad we watched it. But
Okay.
if that movie had had a different ending, I wouldn't have the first fucking clue what we were going to talk about.
Because that's fair.
This movie is meh. It is a meh movie with meh songs and meh dancing that goes on way too long, and it has the most confounding ending of any movie I've possibly ever seen.
Agreed. Most confounding ending of a musical. That's where my anger came from. I was like, this feels wrong.
Okay, so we had very different reactions to the end of this movie because you got angry, and I found delight in the confusion of it all. I was like, this is fucking crazy. Whatever this was, I don't know, but that ending was fucking something.
As long as it was delight and confusion, I got worried for a minute that you liked it. And I was concerned. I was like, who am I speaking with?
No.
Is Laura okay?
Okay. So I feel like I figured out how to describe this movie to someone who hadn't seen it. And because I did this yesterday. I texted my friend Adam and I was like, have you seen this ridiculous movie? And he had not. So what the hell? Okay. So here's the synopsis of this movie. All right, this is what this movie is. It's a musical about a whorehouse and the efforts of a TV watchdog publicity slut played by Dom DeLuise to shut it down. And the efforts of a local sheriff, Burt Reynolds, who loves the madam of the whorehouse, Dolly Parton, Pappy O'Daniel, or Doc Hopper is in it. He's the governor. And the whole thing is narrated by Gomer Pyle. Okay? That's the movie you're watching this whole time. It's about this whorehouse. Good, clean fun, except for all the fucking. And everybody's cool with the whorehouse. What's Dolly's name? Mona? Miss Mona?
Mona.
Yeah, Miss Mona is beloved around town. She gives money to the wherever and to the uniforms for the kids and the there's a tradition every year, which we're going to have to talk about, where the winner of the Texas versus Texas A&M football game, their state senator brings the seniors of that team to this whorehouse for a night of well, dancing in the backyard. No, real dancing, and everyone's in lingerie and whatnot.
That was my favorite
And
number.
uh, it wasn't mine because we haven't gotten to the end of this movie yet. Um, I thought your favorite number would have been the Texas A&M boys in the locker room, like
Fuck no.
7 bare asses dancing in the shower.
That was
No,
the most laughable number. No, give me a number where uh women rip off one outfit to reveal an even cooler one underneath. I'm there.
okay,
I want to perform
um,
it. I want to watch it.
okay, I like it. Um, so the movie is like silly, like
Yes.
from the start, it's silly. I mean, look, when you get Gomer Pyle to do your narration voiceover that bookends the film, you're setting a tone, right? And uh, then there's the first song is about how many fans are in the whorehouse. I don't mean
Yeah.
people who are like go Aggies. I mean ceiling fans. Um, it's a song about ceiling fans, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what to tell you.
It's innuendo because that's how hot it is. There
Look,
were fevers burning in every room.
they're they're in Texas.
I don't even know why I'm gonna
They're in.
defend this film to you. It was
Oh, I
mid,
feel like
but
you should.
but I was delighted by it. I was so
Were you?
delighted by the well, to some extent. Like, oh my god, not enough women for a movie that has what it's all going to be about in the title. There were
Mm-hmm.
not enough whores. What the fuck? Where were my women?
They just didn't have like speaking roles,
Where were my ladies of the night? Yeah, Dolly is the only one who gets to sing.
right?
And
Yeah,
the stage musical's not much better. I listened to some of it, and like, there's only one other woman who maybe gets to sing, and I'm like, what the fuck, musicals?
it's weird, and there's not nearly enough titties in this movie. Like
There,
you
yeah,
make it, you make it all the way to the raid on the Aggies before there's any kind of nudity that isn't college football player ass. Like we we got all the way through that shower scene, and I was like, well, I guess that's the extent of the nudity in this movie. Is just those bare butts. Um, Squeeze them. Um, and then
perfectly
like the next
tan,
scene, oh yeah,
except
um,
for around the butt.
yeah. Well, gotta have your jock strap. Um, and then the next scene is like uh, the Dom DeLuise busting into the whorehouse, filming everybody doing it, and I was like, well, good. Now there's some boobs at least. Yeah.
The Coke
Um,
tits were my favorite.
the what?
The Coke tits were my favorite just for like how late. I mean, they're just sitting there.
Yeah.
Like,
Eh, okay. Yeah. Um, but so it's a silly movie, and so Dom DeLuise has a TV show, and he goes on and he is a friend of the little man, sweeping out rascalism. Um, and he's out there fighting for the people of Texas, telling them about these businesses that are I don't know, screwing them over financially somehow, and he gets this whorehouse in his mouth like a dog with a bone, and he goes on TV and lays it out, folks. There's a whorehouse in Texas. Everybody seems to like it, but it's bad. And Burt Reynolds, who is the sheriff of the town where the whorehouse sits adjacent, and also has a long-term relationship with Miss Mona. Hadn't slept with anybody else in the last 3 years except her, including his wife. Apparently,
he wasn't married.
what was the deal with that kid then in the house when she's making the turkey?
That's someone. I think she was divorced or widowed, and they were dating.
Was she the lady who runs the? Because remember when they're doing the montage at the beginning and Gomer's telling about the town, he's like
Yeah.
dipping a knee high at the soda fountain or whatever. Is that her?
I think so. They didn't make that super clear because they didn't want you to feel anything for this other woman. They only wanted the focus to be on Dolly, which I get it, but like the story has to make sense.
Yeah. So
She has a song. She has a song in the show.
does she? She barely had any lines in this show.
I know.
Um, and so he's awful fond of the whorehouse, and things are just humming right along at this whorehouse until Dom DeLuise gets involved with his haircut and his girdle and whatnot. And Burt Reynolds is like, I'm pissed off at Dom DeLuise, Bernie the agent. Have you met Arnie the alligator?
He's from Hollywood.
Yeah, be nice, Arnie. It's okay. With that tongue, no way. And so like he shows back up in the town, and Burt Reynolds is like, I'm gonna fight him, and he fights him and curses him and knocks him into a fountain, and it all ends up on the television and kerfuffles, and there's more angst, and no matter who he talks to, Burt Reynolds can't stop this from happening. He goes to the governor, Pappy O'Daniel, who was one at a time in it. He wasn't so much mass communicating in this movie. But he did not also come to sing into a can, you dumb cracker. So there's that. Nope. No midgets in this movie, no matter how stumpy.
Nope.
And he almost convinces him that they should not shut down the whorehouse. But then the polling numbers come in, and he's told, the people, I got to shut it down. And so, like, you think this whole movie, this whole time, is about this whorehouse, and maybe it's about like hypocrisy or like the moral finger wagging of others when there's nothing dirty going on here. Look at all these ceiling fans we have. It's fine.
It's a fancy place.
Yeah, it's nice. It is nice. I like that house. Good house.
Yeah, I want to live there. It looks great.
Yeah. Lots of whores. So,
Darn.
I'm just saying. If you're of the Dom DeLuise mindset.
I've got no quarrel with sex workers.
There you go. I got a quarter for one though. What'll that get?
Wow. A foot in your face.
That's right. Get out of here, mister. We need more than a quarter.
He's not bona fide.
He's a suitor. So they're going to shut it down. And, Mona's sending all her whores away. And one of the whores is like, it was awful nice what Ed Earl did for you, the sheriff. Going to the governor and trying to fight for you, and she's like, well, I didn't know he did that.
Doing the least.
Yeah, fat lot of good it did. And then Ed Earl, Burt Reynolds, shows up, and this is the very end of the movie, and he tells her he loves her, and then Miss Mona walks across the foyer, back to the door, turns around, and sings I Will Always Love You to Burt Reynolds. And that's pretty much the end of the movie. It is...
I think, no, you need to follow up because I think you mentioned he had asked her to marry him. She sings what is essentially a goodbye song.
Yeah.
And then
he loads his truck with her shit and they live happily ever after.
But I feel like was that when she finds out that he went to the legislature?
And no, it was before. She found out before.
There was some thrown in line, clearly, because I can't remember it well, but it was some thrown in line about, well, we could go back again, or I could run for the legislature. And so then she's like, oh, okay, I'll marry you. Like but without saying it, he throws her stuff in his truck, carries her over the threshold.
Gives himself a hernia IRL, by the way.
Oh no.
This. Yeah. Yeah, I read that in like one of the little trivia deals. Yeah, no, there's this whole thing where every now and again he mentions that he might want to run for state office. Right? And so like he decides to do that, and then there's a little bit of like, how are you gonna run for state office if you're married to me, a whore? And he's like, he said, you don't know the people at the UN. I might go up in their estimation. That was from Clue. Yeah.
The one line I don't know.
I'm just throwing them out there. And so yeah, then she's like, well, I guess if you think you can win with a whore wife, then I guess we can do it. But what's nuts about it is that that song is so unlike every other song in this movie. Every other song in this movie is like, it's a clapper, it's a dancer, it's you kick your heels and you slap it's a whole thing going on with all these songs. Yeah. And this song is a ballad. It is this song, everybody. Even if you only know the Whitney Houston version of this song, this song. You know what it is. It's not, wow, this whorehouse has a lot of fans. Like, and not only is the song tonally just bonkers for this movie, it makes it, and I think this was your problem, it makes it seem like the movie was about the two of them and their love story and not about this whorehouse.
That was one, my slip got caught. That was one problem I had with it. The bigger problem I had was the fact that she immediately, like story-wise, they immediately undo everything that she said in that song, because it's a I love you, this is it, we right. We're not going to be together, but I will always love you, goodbye. And then through a smattering of lines thrown together, which honestly, that does ring true to musicals. See Oklahoma.
Sure. Where the wind comes sweeping down the plain?
The very same. But like, all of a sudden, he's carrying her and they're leaving and they're gonna get married. And I thought, wait, what about the whorehouse?
Yeah, because what about all them whores?
You two getting married means jack shit to me. I care about these people. I care about the best little whorehouse in Texas because you told me to care about it because it's in the fucking title.
It's the name of the movie. Yeah. And even though none of the whores really get to talk unless they're talking about Ceiling Fans. Yeah. I feel bad for the whores.
I wanted them to have they all seemed very happy there. They all seemed to like what they were doing, liked their living situation. I mean, to a point, this seemed like a fairly sex positive musical to a point.
Yeah, sure.
Must emphasize that. But it made me so mad. I thought, no, in a musical, everything gets fixed. Hell, right. Curly commits murder, and they're all like, sweep it under the rug. He just got married, and this is barely a state, but it's gonna be. Why don't we sing about it being a state? If Curly can get off of murder charges, why can't the best little whorehouse in Texas be reopened, and then they get married? I don't know. If you have to have the I could live without the marriage, whatever. Yeah. But if that has to be in there, it just doesn't make sense that she would be perfectly happy just getting married to him. Like they have said that they're happy with their arrangement. There's no implication that they have a problem with that.
Yeah.
And then to take away her job and the thing that has made her happy and other people happy. Oh my God. It was so maddening.
Yeah. So here's what
was the point of all this? What was the point of all this?
Like the movie tells you that the third act which is just a 2-act play, whatever. The end of the musical is supposed to be, in some way, Dom DeLuise gets hoisted on his own petard to a point where it invalidates his complaints about the whorehouse.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody stops caring that, like, what if, here we are just fixing the best little whorehouse in Texas 42 years, 43
I
years
want to
old.
fix it.
Okay, so what if he goes on TV and Miss Mona comes out, Ed Earl storms the TV station with a shit ton of whores, and Miss Mona sings a song about ceiling fans or how whores are great or whatever, and then they've got, like, I don't know, pictures of Dom DeLuise at a donkey show or something people are going to be way less cool with than a whorehouse. And the Jim Neighbors comes in and arrests Dom DeLuise, carts him off, and then all the whores start singing like a wedding song, and then they get married live on TV, and they go back and they live in the whorehouse, and all the whores get to keep fucking college boys. Everybody's happy.
Sounds pretty great to me.
But instead, what we get is the whorehouse is shuttered. Gomer Pyle's the sheriff now. Ed Earl and Mona are upstate someplace. I don't know how they refer to that in Texas, like, you know, downstate, upstate, like wherever the state capital is, vis-a-vis the whorehouse. And then there's some other ridiculous song, I don't know, about other household appliances. I don't care. But instead what you get is like this real serious number that is about something you haven't cared about the whole movie.
Yeah.
And
you know what it felt like to me, honestly? Because I think I've mentioned this before about other 80s films. And I mean, I hate that I keep sensing this, but it feels true to me. I mean, it feels like they, once again, this is a response to the women's lib movement of the 70s. Mm-hmm. This said, okay, y'all got to do your little jobs and make money for a bit, but ultimately, you're going to wind up married because you know that's all you want. Or that's all you can do. It's very dark. And I'm like, if you want to go dark with this, fine, lean into it. Right. You know? Because Urinetown is kind of, is, you know, it's always listed as a comedy, but it's kind of a dark show. Mm-hmm. Like, so do that with this, or lean into the ridiculous nature of classic of musicals and go the like golden musical route and just everything's fine, nothing bad happened, everything ends happily. You know, I mean,
it feels like that kind of a musical.
It does.
Yeah, right until the very end.
Yeah.
When it's like, I don't fucking know. So, I texted you this last night, right after I watched it. Here are, to my mind, the 5 biggest surprise endings in movie history. Okay? And there's some argument to be made. There's other things you could put in there, I suppose. Psycho.
Yes.
Big shock. We watched that. Empire Strikes Back. Right? Like the big door out, Luke. Hey, guess what? Spoilers. I am your father. Like,
well, see, and I feel like so far these have been, well, not spoiled for me. Psycho, I was brilliant and figured it out. Empire Strikes Back. Come on. I was born knowing that. Like, that's in...
Sure.
You learn that in utero. I don't know how, but you do.
Right. But when it came out, that was a shocker. And it was a cliffhanger because it's like, wait, was that true? We got to wait till the next movie to find out if that's true?
Oh, shit.
What the fuck? And the next movie's not going to come out for 2 more years? Empire Strikes Back was crazy.
What about Ben?
Yeah, right. Yeah. The Sixth Sense, which I don't know if you've seen it or not, so I'm not going to spoil it. But there's
Haven't, but I know.
Okay, surprise ending. The Usual Suspects,
I
surprise
don't know
ending.
that one.
Not going to spoil it. Big twist at the end. And this fucking thing, because nobody saw this ending coming. This is nuts. I don't.
Everybody could have seen it coming.
Oh my God, Jordan Bonner. Oh.
I'm trying to think now, what are the most shocking endings of things I've ever seen? But of course, they're all, I would need like 10 minutes. So we're not going to go there.
Yeah. I mean, there were a couple, like there's, like the ending of Presumed Innocent is like a pretty big twist. Surprise ending. There's also like this first movie that Ed Norton did, the name of which is totally escaping me, that has like a really great twist ending.
Sweeney Todd, that caught me off guard.
I don't remember how that ends.
You find out who certain people are, and I mean, essentially, it's Hamlet. Everyone dies, but like, still, one of the big reveals. You're just like, oh, it was this person. Anyway, gotcha. I'm not spoiling it. Although at this point, I don't know. People go see Sweeney Todd. Listen to Sweeney Todd. It's great.
Yeah,
that's a good musical.
Yeah, but this just takes like it. It doesn't take a left-hand turn. It is suddenly you're on a boat. Like I was walking down the street, and now I'm on a boat. How the fuck I get on a boat? This is nuts. Yeah. Can I go back to the street I was on? I don't want to be on a boat. Even if Dolly Parton is on that boat singing this song, which is a great song. Here's the thing. That song's great. And her version of that song is better than Whitney Houston's version. It is. It's better. Whitney Houston's range is way better. Totally crazy. That note that she hits is whatever. But I think Dolly's version of this song is better.
They're both beautiful.
And both of them are attached to dog shit movies.
Listen.
Are you going to defend Bodyguard to me?
No, I've never seen it, and I don't need to because I've been told it's crap.
Yeah, I've never seen it either because it's dog shit. It was everywhere in 1992 or 3 whenever it came out, and I had no interest in that. And I wonder which movie that has this song in it is worse.
Oh God.
Because this song is over. Like
it's funny because I had noticed throughout the film in a few moments where it was underscoring, and I was like, oh, that's cute. They're having her music underscore some little bits. And then from that first, if I should, I was like, oh, she's gonna sing it? Which
now?
Leslie, of course she's gonna sing it. I know.
I mean, look, Dolly Parton's film career is spotty at best. Okay. 9 to 5 is a ton of fun, and 9 to 5 is a great fucking song. Like it like, look, I could do without Jolene. I don't need Jolene. But 9 to 5 is a Mount Rushmore level song.
Yeah.
Like, that song is fucking. And have you heard the story about how she like first played that song to the, like, I think it was Lily Tomlin was telling the story. She came onto set and she's like, I wrote this, I figured this out. And she wanted the beat of the song to sound like the typewriter because they're working in the office.
Of course.
Right. And she plays it on her acrylic nails. Oh, this is how she plays it. Yeah. She's like, this is what it is. It just plays it on her nails. And you're like, well, this lady's a genius. Yeah. And that song is fantastic. And that movie is fun. And like, shove it right up Dabney Coleman's ass. But then she does Rhinestone with Sylvester Stallone, which is another insane concept. it's not a movie I've seen, but I don't know. I feel like maybe I should at some point.
Who falls off a cliff in that one?
John Lithgow's accent.
Okay, side note, real quick.
Yes.
I saw, and all I did was see the title. I didn't want to explore it more because I don't want to fuck with algorithms right now. But I saw that they were looking at him for Dumbledore, and I thought, no, I don't care if he played Churchill and fixed his accent. No, I need a good Dumbledore. I don't want Lithgow. I love you, Lithgow. I don't want you as Dumbledore. Stop it.
Look, as long as he doesn't do the crazy ass accent from Cliffhanger, I think we're good.
I'm beginning to dislike this Voldemort.
Oh my god, fucking.
Oh no, I just made it happen.
You did. Yeah, you spoke it into being. But like at least like 9 to 5 is such a fun movie with such a great song, and this movie is not good.
No.
And the really good song it has in it doesn't fit.
No.
But it's literally the only thing I found interesting about this movie. Like up until that moment, I was like, "What are we going to talk about here?" Because none of the songs stand out to me. I don't really understand if it has a point that it's making. Like it could have been about like how in 1982 it's more important to be a master of public messaging than it is to be able to fight. Like it could be like that, there's a shift in, I don't know, masculine roles or some shit. Like, it could have been something about that. It could have been about hypocrisy of, because that's what it's mostly about. Like, everyone in the town loves this place. Even the wives are like, "What, you don't think the cow gets happy when the bull takes a night, goes down, whatever?" Like, I mean, all these lady cows married all these bulls. Like, even the wives are like, "Please go fuck someone else." Like, please just go. It's Saturday night. Can I just not get dry humped by you tonight? Pretty
Oh my
please.
god. Yeah.
Like, that's the attitude of the whole town.
The town had a pretty healthy relationship with sex work, and that's incredible that everyone was so okay with it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like they had a niche idea and they really didn't want to hone in on a message. They were like, "No, it's a musical, it's a romp. Pew pew. Let's just be fun."
But it's not about anything. Like, there's I guess it's about this love story between these two fools, but it's not until there's like one scene where they're like, I don't know what they're doing. They're laying on the hood of a car or something. I don't remember what they're up to.
Oh, they were laying out by the lake drinking, like,
by the lake,
revisiting a past date and a memory and a feeling, and like, I liked what they were trying to do, but like,
mm-hmm.
there were so many times throughout this where I was just like,
yeah,
am I supposed to care about this couple? Why am I supposed to care about this couple?
Yeah.
They don't seem to care. Like, they were very much a friends with benefits situation, and they were fine with it. And it's one of those things. Another thing this play did wrong with, like, you had people okay with not getting married, and then suddenly you had them wanting to get married because, oh, we have to get married. People can't be not married and happy. Like, which is it? You can't be both things. Right. Not in this instance.
Yeah. And it just, like, it doesn't need to be about something, but it needs to have a story arc that fucking makes some kind of sense. And I don't fucking know with this movie. All right. I feel like you might have some thoughts about intimacy in this film.
Just a few. This is, what's great about musicals is that a lot of intimacy gets done through dance.
Yeah.
And even though there probably aren't like a lot of consent based things happening in dance at the same time, you still have to trust your partner. You still have to make sure, like, do you feel supported? Or like, no, actually, I need your hand here. Like, there's the communication you have for dance choreography is what you need in intimacy. But there's so much happening in this. You know, Burt Reynolds having to be in skin tight speedo-y underwear for a very short. I mean, he was in it so briefly, and then immediately under the covers.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to say, for someone considered a sex symbol, he was very much leaning into like the comedic intimacy and everything. So
Mm-hmm.
shout outs to him not playing up the stud.
Here's I think so. Are you familiar with like the Burt Reynolds centerfold?
Oh, I have heard of this.
Yeah, like where it's like him laying on a bearskin rug or something, and he's like, sort of this, yeah, like this deal. And I don't. He's like, yeah, but it's like hands covering his junk or whatever. I don't know what's going on, but like he was very, and I'll have to look it up here, but I'm pretty sure that happened before this. So he is known to be a sex symbol. He's
Yeah,
known to like people have seen him in his All Together. Um, and so I think that like the whole, I'm not going to wear this. I'm too shy. Zip into the bed is totally played for him to be against type. Like
yeah.
it's a gag on purpose.
And I like that.
Yeah.
And when you think about it too, I would say Dolly is also considered a sex symbol. So
Oh
it's funny
fuck
how
yeah.
it's funny when you put two sex symbols together, does it work? And I don't know where I land on the two of them. I think they had, because again, I don't think they were directed well on
Yeah.
the relationship story. Like these people have clearly been together a long time. They're friends at the base of it all, but they're also friends with benefits.
Mm-hmm.
They've got something good.
Mm-hmm.
And while it makes sense how relaxed they were around each other, there really wasn't, even if you're not touching, like putting hands or kissing, like they don't need to be pawing at each other, but that moment that you mentioned earlier when they're like sitting back on the beach or whatever, I mean,
Uh-huh.
she's kind of tilted away from him, and he's also just kind of laid back, like they should have been right next to each other.
Yeah.
They should still want to have parts touching, whether
Mm-hmm.
it's you know laying casually on top of another person. I mean, there's a moment in Dirty Dancing when, granted, they're in new part of their relationship, but she's like laying on top of him and casually and just talking to him, and I'm like, you could have done something like that here. um
Mm-hmm.
Now granted, Jennifer Grey and Dolly Parton are very different physically, so that might have been harder for Dolly to do, but you can do something like that.
Yeah.
Have them sideways, chest to chest, and talking, and like, or I don't know, there just wasn't enough touch,
Mm.
to show closeness,
Yeah.
and of to show any amour, like.
Yeah.
And I think there is a love there. I just don't think that there's a love there. I don't know what to describe it as, though. Like, and I wrote down, like, is distance part of their story? Um when they're dancing together, their hands, it was like watching middle schoolers dance almost.
Mm.
Like there was such a stiffness in their hand placement, and I thought, I don't know if this is something because they didn't like each other or if they just weren't sure what to do. But like,
Mm-hmm.
again, it's things like that would be fixed if you talked about it.
Right. Yeah.
Um there's no kiss between them until halfway through the movie,
Mm-hmm.
which
Yeah.
again, I was about to say, if you've heard me talk about Twisters, but no one on here has heard me talk about Twisters. I'm okay with there not being a kiss,
Mm-hmm.
but you need to tell other parts of the story. And so in this case, you need to have other forms of touch, them leaning into
What?
each other.
I was doing my edit on our Karate Kid episode today,
Mm-hmm.
and how much because they don't kiss for a while. They don't. Daniel and Allie with an I don't kiss until like he's apologizing to her for being an asshole at the golf and stuff. Yay, golf.
Yeah.
But like that whole scene, we talked about how great it was, like the hugging that they were doing, and the way they danced in the shower, and how they interacted in the photo booth. Like their physicality, their kiss was weird, but their physicality in all other aspects was so great that you're like, I totally get these two people together.
And that can tell a much better story.
Mm-hmm.
Again, they've only been together 3 years. That's still fairly
Well,
new.
they've only been exclusive with each other, and neither one of them knew it for 3 years. I think they've been fucking for a long time.
Oh, fair enough. Okay. Well, I still stand by. It's not like it's not like it's a 20-year, 50-year relationship where
Right.
like, where maybe some distance does become natural, but there's still like a closeness in the air between them. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just know that I wanted them to be leaning into each other more, either like, I don't know, lightly sweeping the hair off of each other, playing just a little something to make me care. Because again, they made this the center of the story, and it wasn't the center of the story I was watching.
And
It
here's
was
the other part of it too, is Dolly Parton and Burt Reynolds are both ridiculous, unapologetic flirts. Like in real life, their public personas were big flirts. Like
okay.
Dolly still is. Like she's a huge flirt, and she's always talking about how her boobs and like like she owns every bit of her sexuality, and she plays it for fun.
Yeah.
And Burt Reynolds dead now, but like his whole like I swear to God, you got to watch Smokey and the Bandit. Like I've never felt like everybody's got to watch Smokey and the Bandit, but I kind of feel like maybe people should watch Smokey and the Bandit.
Okay.
But he's just like he's a big grinning flirt all the time. And in this movie, that's not what they do with each other. I want to see these two flirts flirt.
Yeah. There was that's what's missing. There was no real fun between them. Like we get a hint at it when like in the beginning when they're first meeting up and talking about like I like meeting up with you and this is fun sneaking around. But like you're only telling me, you're not showing me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so huge disappointment there. On another note, pun intended, totally wasn't expecting all the ass, all the male ass. I was like, is this I didn't know I was watching Take Me Out. Which fun little inside joke there for any theater nerds listening.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
It's a it's a play about a baseball player coming out, and a few scenes take place in a shower, and it was controversial when it was done in my college. Anyway, yeah, you have men showering together, and we only see their backs, and I mean, clearly everyone is placed just so. Something I noticed. One, I have to remark on the song, and what I will now dub the "I'm Gonna Get Laid" song in a musical. Uh-huh. I didn't realize how much of a thing this was until I heard it, and like, I mean, oh my God, they're college boys, but they're doing "We're gonna and stuff and do a woman tonight." It was so ridiculous, and it makes sense that they would be bolstering themselves up and being like, yeah, chutzpah. I don't know. But I wanted to be like, guys, you're going to a whorehouse and you think you're going to teach these women anything?
Right. Yeah.
Get real. You've
Well, you know,
barely had sex. Stop it.
they know lots of things.
They know nothing. It's 1982. They don't know anything about the woman's body. They probably still don't even know that women can enjoy sex. I won't go further than that. But
And neither will they because of Dom DeLuise.
I mean, some of them got to go further.
That's true. Yeah.
I liked the suggestive dancing, especially in the scene following this. There was a, once they get there and the girls are all dressed up in their debutante stuff and then suddenly rip it off. Oh,
Mhm.
I loved that. It
Yeah.
thrilled me like those men were probably thrilled. And I mean, the dancing became very suggestive. So, like, even though we weren't going to see what was going to happen behind closed doors, they certainly gave us an idea. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, at one point, it was straight up groins doing this against each
Yeah.
other, which that's going to be a weird sound on the mic. Enjoy that. Okay, that sounds
Yeah.
better.
That's. I mean, no, it's what it. I mean, I don't know what that sounded, but yours sounded to me like.
To me, it sounded like bits. Anyway.
Now everyone knows what your bits sound like.
Not mine. Anyway. I don't know. I'm not making it any better.
And I'm not helping either. I'm just gonna let you dig this hole.
Okay. Then yeah, obviously a few minutes later we get we get boobs. Boobs are revealed.
Yep.
We get it's the typical 80s, like, even though there's context and everything, it's still done in the very abrasive way, which again kind of fits with the story of like
Mhm.
gotcha,
Yeah.
of like, oh my god, titties.
Mhm.
And I loved all the different positions that people
Mm.
were in. Like, there was a lot of creativity. Even
Mhm.
for what the main relationship was lacking, there was a lot of creativity with, like, how are we going to catch each of these people? We have a
Mhm.
threesome here. We have,
There were two threesomes. There was a man lady lady threesome and a lady man man threesome.
oh,
Yeah, like
listen.
the two fellas and the lady, they were above the door, like their heads popped up above the door at one point during all of the kerfuffle. Like he popped up, she popped up, and then he popped up, and you're like, look at
Listen,
you guys.
it was bound to happen. They were all very
Mm-hmm.
close. A lot of them were close in that shower.
Mm-hmm.
It was bound to happen. And I mean, you see casual states of undress, and even without the nudity, I mean, the women are in lingerie the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Some more revealing than others.
Yeah.
I felt I felt a little seen during this because for all the small busted chicks, I was like, go us. Because people
Yeah.
like Dolly tend to
Mm-hmm.
be sexualized a lot more and considered more attractive, and I'm like, I get it. Beautiful. And some would argue with me that, like, and yet it's the skinny girls on the covers all the time. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. But as someone who was, there's a line in this, and we quoted it to each other about, like, what, oh man, I just forgot it because it's the one about we can't just wait for it to grow a chest.
Oh, I can't even remember. Yeah,
Listen,
I forgot too.
as someone who basically had that said to her, it's just nice to see myself represented on screen. We all feel
Sure.
that way.
Yep. And as a frequent visitor of a whorehouse, I feel the same.
Oh my
Like,
god.
it's nice to be seen. That's all I'm saying.
I'm happy for you.
Did I say whorehouse? I meant warehouse. I've been to a lot of warehouses.
I'm happy for us both.
That's what I meant.
Let me see what else. Yeah, I'm gonna go back to my point at the very beginning again. Like, it's great that musicals at least have a dance choreographer because I feel less frightened when I watch these.
Mm-hmm.
Not that stuff can't go wrong with dance choreography. Totally can. Other types of injuries, but
Hernias,
hernias.
apparently.
Apparently, yeah. So some cool stuff happening in this. Unfortunately, not with the main couple.
Yeah. Yeah. It's I don't think I feel like maybe the movie didn't know they were the main couple until Dolly was like, "What if I sing I Will Always Love You?" And they're like, "That's a good song. We haven't had a good song yet. Let's try one. See what happens."
Yeah, they didn't understand the assignment, but the ensemble sure as hell did, and I'm thankful for them. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Um all right. So there's really no need to visit Needle Drop Forest because the only thing worth talking about is I Will Always Love You, and we talked about that for half an hour. But the rest of the songs in this they're all kind of too long.
yeah.
And the dance numbers are not, with the exception of the one with the Aggies, the dance numbers aren't super interesting. You know, they just kind of plod along, and you know, like
Yeah. Even the one during, because I just watched this, and the it's just a little bitty pissant country or something. Little bitty
yeah,
pissant whorehouse. I don't know.
whatever it is, yeah,
Whatever, one of those things. There is a dance number there, and like it's cute and fine, but it does feel very much like this is a musical number, and now this is where we have the ladies dance. Uh,
right, yeah.
when they could have done like I would not have had them all like in one line, like you could have done a thing again there, like with the Aggies,
Mhm.
and have them like find their man or like break off into sections and be doing different things. I don't know. Yeah, this musical was all over the place and
It
nowhere.
really kind of was. Yeah, it really kind of was. All right. What else you got? What else time?
Too many men in this movie. I
Yeah, but I
I
like the men who were in it.
I did too, and I was just really disappointed again that like whorehouse is in the title. Why is most of this movie spent outside of it and
Mhm.
not with its inhabitants?
Yeah.
And sadly, it kind of seems like the musical is similar. Like there are
Mm.
a few more women's numbers, but it doesn't. I just feel like it should be maybe more of an ensemble show.
Yeah. I mean, the women in this sing most of the songs. Like the whores do most of the singing. There's the one about the fan and the one about the piss ant, and um,
Hard
like
candy Christmas.
yeah, and then the dance number with the Aggies. Like all the singing and dancing is by the girls basically, but there's like they're just the company. You know.
Yeah, yeah, and that makes me sad. I need them featured more. Like again,
Yeah.
as much as I love Dolly, I was kind of disappointed that she was like, I don't know. If this was anyone else, I would be like, this feels like a move to promote yourself and let's ignore everyone else in the story.
Mm.
And but that doesn't seem like something she would do.
No, I think it's what the movie wanted. It wanted to center her and Burt Reynolds, and because they're the star wattage. You know.
Mm,
So, um, is this anyone's defining role?
no,
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 not a one of them.
not a one. That house.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, this is just it's unmemorable kind of across the board. Um, all right, here's a question. Why isn't this done in high schools?
Okay, I was thinking earlier, like, how funny would it be for a high school to do this? And before people go, let me just remind you, if no one will know this. Um, High schools are constantly doing shows that maybe aren't the best idea, especially
Mm-hmm.
when you consider the fact that teachers aren't going to have the important discussions with them. Teachers love doing spring awakening because, oh, it's about how we need to be teaching our kids about sex education and be communicating with them and blah blah blah. And I want to go, but are you?
No, not going to do that.
And they're not. They're not. They just want to be controversial.
Mm-hmm.
And same thing with like, oh, let's have our kids do cabaret in Chicago. Okay, are you going to talk about the heavy shit? Are you going to make sure your kids feel okay dancing sexily? Do you realize you're going to be having these kids dance in front of adults?
We
Like,
did Gypsy.
listen, the not my high school, but I was in a production of Gypsy done by a high school, and yeah, it I have weird feelings about it now. Like, if you want to do these shows, just be willing to have the conversation and also amend the intimacy. Like, you can do different things around it. You know, you can still tell a story about a famous burlesque artist while not subjecting someone underage to stripping in front of teachers and
And we
parents.
there was no stripping in ours. There
Oh,
was,
okay. Well,
I think
see,
they did like the glove thing, maybe.
see, and you can do that. I mean, ultimately, all of these women are in wardrobe that is similar to what they wear to the beach or a pool
Mhm. Yeah.
or dance class. But like, you know, you have to work around these things. There have to be discussions. Otherwise, you're just perpetuating the idea that all of this is normal and you should put your body on the slab for your art. And yeah, so yeah, I'm surprised that this one is not done.
Yeah. Um, I mean, I'm not, because it's about a whorehouse.
You know
But
what I am? Go ahead.
no, no. What were you saying?
I Why was this Poppin' Grandma's favorite movie?
I asked I don't know if it's her favorite movie, but they had it on VHS tape. They had a VHS tape of it. And I asked my mom before we recorded. I was like, "Hey, have you ever seen this movie? And do you know if Grandma and Pop liked it? Because I know they had a copy of it."
Mm.
And she's like, "I've never seen it, and I do not know." So
Damn.
I know. I I I asked all of one person and don't have an answer.
Well, Ashley also mentioned because I asked her if she'd seen it, and she was like, "No, but I know it was one of Poppin' Grandma's favorites." And I'm like,
I bet she saw the VHS tape too.
probably.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. It just they had some, and that was one of them.
You should have called Grandma.
You know what? She won't remember.
I
Like,
know.
I mean, it's and she's got a really good memory for '97, but I don't think she's gonna be like every time Laura tries to ask her questions, like, "What was your favorite meal as a child?" or whatever,
Oh.
stuff like that, and she's like, "I ate whatever they gave me."
Yeah, you
She's
did.
like, yeah, like because she has Pop the same thing. He's like, "We were poor.
Oh God.
I ate
Oh.
whatever my mom made. That's what I ate, and I didn't complain about it."
What was your
Basically,
favorite food?
food, dinner. Yeah, I also like breakfast. That's a good food. Yeah. So I don't think there would have been a whole lot of insight there.
Sweet Laura.
Um, I know she likes genealogy, so she wants to get the family stories.
Oh,
And
ours
family
is,
stories are,
as
yeah,
someone who tried as a kid asking parents, grandparents, yeah, I gave up
yeah.
quickly.
All right, what the fuck is Texas A&M doing? Like, not only did they allow footage from one of their football games to be in this movie,
Oh God.
they yeah, they allowed their I guess in 1982 people just did not care about their brand.
No.
But like the Texas A&M jerseys, those are their colors. They I think they use the word Aggies in that song where all the naked football players are dancing.
Hmm.
How do you sign up for this as a state university? Like
I
that's
don't know.
nuts. like it's one thing to have a throwaway line like, "Oh, the winners of the big game, come to the Whorehouse," but it's like, and the big game features Texas A&M University, home of the Aggies.
Yeah.
Is this a recruitment tool? Is this some Rick Pitino shit? Shouts to you for making the Rick Pitino joke.
Thank you for honoring my joke, because I almost said it and I thought, I don't know if we want to put that out there, but yeah, it's true. They were giving Rick Pitino ideas.
I wish that I knew about this when the Rick Pitino thing happened. I would have made so many more Best Little Whorehouse in Texas jokes. It makes me sad that I missed that opportunity.
I mean, you can make them to me. I'll enjoy them.
That's true, but it's like it's not in the zeitgeist at the moment. So
that's true.
It's like making Ike jokes. Yeah.
I was thinking this earlier, like, because I thought of the Chicken House, and I'm like, oh, that was Pop's favorite restaurant.
Yeah.
There's something we don't know.
House?
Huh?
Have you ever been there?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
I've only been once, and it was like in the last 3 or 4 years. Pretty good fried chicken.
I've been, I mean, yeah, when I could have it, I don't know what I would eat there now. I would have a bite. I could still have fries, I guess, but
Yeah.
I want chicken.
Yeah, you want the chicken. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any other what else's?
It's so funny you brought up the Texas A&M thing, because I didn't even think about that, but it makes so much sense. And it reminds me of, I don't know if you were aware of this, but whenever Victoria's Secret's Pink line was starting to do like alumni stuff across universities, Indiana held out for a bit, and it was kind of a big deal. And I wonder now how many other universities might have held out. Like, do we want to be associated with the Victoria's Secrets?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. The Aggie is probably first in line.
Probably. Sluts.
Yeah. Put that A on one cheek and the M on another and the ampersand right on the ass crack. That's what you want.
Listen, we saw how they were in the shower.
Mm-hmm. Booties.
So many booties. Grabbing necks roughly.
College ass. That's right. Bounce a quarter off those things.
Jesus, you could.
Yeah. All right, what is this the EST of for you?
Good God.
Mm-hmm.
I had a few, but I think this might be the most all over the place musical.
It really is all over the place.
And we watched Grease too.
Yes, we did. That movie, the horniest movie ever made. Hornier than a movie about a whorehouse. So take that. This isn't quite an EST, but it is. This is the. It's probably not even this. So this is I'm going to think of other examples, but I mostly just want to talk about this other thing. This is the second best use of whores in any movie I've ever seen.
Oh God!
And the best use of whores is in the movie Dirty Work. Have you seen Dirty Work? I'm sure you haven't.
Nope.
It is a Norm Macdonald movie, which there aren't too many of. Him and Artie Lang plays his best friend. And it turns out that Norm plays a guy named Mitch, and he's really good at getting revenge on people. So he starts a revenge for hire business where people pay him to get back at people. And he hires a bunch of prostitutes, and he has the prostitutes get in the trunks of these cars, because the local car dealer is going to do a live commercial. And in the middle of the live commercial, he pops the trunks and walks on the camera. He's like, "Look at all these dead prostitutes."
Oh my God.
What's going on here with all these dead prostitutes?
I thought they were going to pop out and be like, "Woo, boobs."
No, he's like, "This guy has a bunch of dead prostitutes in his car."
Jeez.
It's it's so weird. It's not a good movie. It has like 4 really funny things in it, and the dead prostitutes is one of them. I think my favorite though is he's walking down the street and he sees this girl that he met, and he's like, Mildred, Mildred, and he runs across the street, Mildred, and she's like, oh, hi, Mitch. I guess you forgot my name. It's not Mildred. And he's like, no, you never told me, so I guessed.
Well, what if one of our prostitutes died?
That's right. That's right. I love guessing Mildred.
Like, Mildred.
You never told me, so I guessed your name was Mildred. So
the least expected name.
For like a woman in her 20s in 1998 or whatever.
Yeah.
Look at all these dead prostitutes. So this movie, way fewer dead prostitutes than Dirty Work.
And we're glad. We don't want them to be dead.
No, we don't want them to be dead. We want real, live, living whores. We're going to sing and dance.
We want, listen, we're going to fix this musical. The Whorehouse will be erected.
Look at what you did there. Also, you know what? I know it ruins a whole number, but we're installing air conditioning. HVACs for this whole whorehouse. We don't need these ceiling fans. It's low rent bullshit. Take care of your whores. That's what I say.
That's how they were. They had fans.
I know. We're all big fans of these whores. All right, I think that once again we have proven my theory that everything comes back to Aaron Spelling.
Even Best Little Whorehouse in Texas.
Even this thing. What the fuck? All right, Cheesemeisters. So shit's about to get real on the Peach Pod. So join us here on Wednesday when we watch season 3, episode 27, A Night to Remember, where the school board says, we got some rules and you sons of bitches better follow them. And then Mel gets involved.
Oh boy, it would be so funny if I had you watch High School Musical 3, because the prom number is A Night to Remember, but I'm not going to do that.
It also, I mean, that we would have to do some looking to find the connection. So that's the other thing. I don't know what we're going to watch next week. Now, you've seen the episode now, so you know what happens.
I mean, I think one of the teen movies I threw at you recently would be a good idea. Man, I'd have to go far back in our text messages.
Oh, God.
I think I mentioned She's All That, Dazed and Confused, Last Picture Show.
Yeah, Dazed and Confused is better for the
Pretty
end
in Pink.
of the year.
Ooh, Pretty in Pink could be good.
Yeah? They have a prom? I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember it's a prom. I know it's a dance. I just don't.
Let's say for this case, it's prom.
Sure.
I think it's prom. It's high school.
Yeah. All right, we could do that.
I would love Pretty in Pink.
Okay.
But would you? I feel like I have to pay you back for this.
No, it's fine. No, Pretty in Pink is fine. It's not my favorite John Hughes movie.
Okay.
It's not like I'm pretty sure Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is my favorite John Hughes movie. But of the teenage John Hughes movies, this one's definitely behind Breakfast Club and 16 Candles. Even though, as discussed, 16 Candles. Oh boy. There's some things in that movie.
Yeah, there are.
But I mean, maybe we could do Pretty in Pink. So maybe it's Pretty in Pink next week. Yeah, maybe it's that. So we'll see. But join us for that, whatever we decide to do, because you know it's going to be fucking awesome. We just talked for an hour and 8 minutes or whatever about the best little whorehouse in Texas. And this movie's dumb. So and has a weird fucking ending.
Fuck that ending.
I know. But you know what? I'm so glad it was a surprise. Like, I'm so glad I didn't know that was coming. And then I was just walloped upside the head with it. It's like, wow, that was an experience. So sorry we spoiled Best Little Whorehouse in Texas for you, Cheesemeisters.
You were never going to watch it.
We also
you might now. You might now.
I mean, There's better things you can do with 2 hours. You could go to a real whorehouse. I would recommend that. Because, look, let's be real honest. Your wife wants you out of the house on Saturday anyway. She's tired of your dick.
But according to Greece, all it takes is 15 minutes. So what are they going to do with the other hour and 45 minutes?
Look at the ceiling fan. There's one in each room, for God's sake. They're song-worthy.
Yeah, it was dumb.
Oh, my Lord. All right. And then, until then, Cheesemeisters. Cheers.
Y'all come back now.
You hear?